Well, a bunch of reporters that have never sacrificed anything in their lives are still whining over the deployment of the USS Abraham Lincoln and the invented narrative of somehow low morale on the ship. What Democrats and the corporate media and the legacy media and all these reporters are completely overlooking is that this was the single greatest combat experience of an aircraft carrier deployment probably in my lifetime. Navy Secretary Hung Cao said the media was painting sailors as victims, and that was dishonest. It's also highlighting what the crew accomplished. 266 days deployed, which in the grand scheme of things is not a massively long deployment. 200 days in combat zone, which means they weren't paying taxes on their paychecks too. Over 10,000 sorties, 1.5 million pounds of ordnance freedom delivered, and retention rates on the Abraham Lincoln are among the highest of all characters. Put that in your morale pipe. It's important to note also, when I was deployed at the highest levels of combat of the SEAL teams in 2007, that was also oddly the highest retention rate among the SEAL teams in that war. Huh, weird. CNN has led the absolute charge in painting conditions as dismal, but I just remember when they were reporting from that ship, I don't know, a month ago, they were there eating ice cream and playing cards with the sailors. And when they spoke to the ship's commander, he made it clear that the deployment's never been, that tough, but it is what you sign up for.
What kind of toll does that take on you personally?
It's tough. I said I had my first kid born in February, so
wow.
Very excited to get home, meet her.
And you don't know when you'll be able to do that?
We'll see. I mean, hopefully home soon, but unfortunately it's a common story on the ship, I think. Get in the Navy, this is what you kind of sign up for.
Acting Secretary of the U.S. Navy, Secretary Hung Cao. Sir, incredible deployment, obviously, massive experience gained that will teach future generations for the next 30 years. Any idea where this whole thing originated from?
Well, it's an election year, Carl. This is the outrage comes out, right? I mean, no one talks about the USS Nimitz, who deployed for 270 days before Epic Fury, the USS Carl Vinson, who did it for 269 days, Harry S. Truman, that was getting shot at in the Red Sea by the Houthis using Iranian weapons for 252 days, Theodore Roosevelt before that for 264 days, and the Dwight D. Eisenhower for 277 days. It's just an election year, so let's pick on President Trump and what he's doing right now, which is freeing the world from these Iranian tyrannical lunatics.
Well, the other thing, too, is, there was no reporting under Barack Obama or even there wasn't really stop loss under Joe Biden, but under Barack Obama, there was no reporting of stop loss, despite the fact that is, an issue that's near and dear to yourself, sir, which is, suicide among service members and veterans. Stop loss caused massive suicide problems, and nobody talked about that under a Democrat until this deployment.
No, you're absolutely right. And you said that earlier, the re-enlistment rate on the Abe Lincoln is 84.4%, which is one of the highest we've ever seen.
It's really high. Yeah. So you also noted that the Abraham Lincoln, obviously a variety of things, experience, bomb dropping, retention, all these things. And I just couldn't help but think that, this is the War Department putting out ads like this now. Roll this, sir.
Their service has taught us not to seek war, but to prepare, to fight, and win. Peace through strength.
I imagine that the lethality is a much better seller than, some of this stuff that we saw earlier. Play it.
Begins in California with a little girl raised by two moms. Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age.
I color me shocked that we have higher retentions now of warfighters, sir.
No, absolutely. The retention's been out the door, and also recruitment. Last year, we brought in over 8,000 new recruits above what we normally did. And this year, we're on track to bring in 11,000 more recruits in the Navy. Wow. So, yes, people just remember the hit on me they did that about alpha males and alpha females. Apparently, it's true. That's the kind of people we want, and those are the people we're attracting right now.
Yeah, but sir, you've been, and real quick, you were an EOD guy. You were the one who ran towards the bomb while guys like even me ran away from the bomb. You're not speaking off the cuff here, sir, about this stuff.
No, I mean, I've been deployed just like you have. No one said anything when I was in a FOB that was surrounded by HESCO barriers, and our front gate was an MRAP, and we get 2 MREs a day with 5 bottles of water. That's what we get. But when none of us complained. When I was invading Iraq, my oldest son, who's now a 2nd lieutenant in the Marine Corps, was born, and I didn't get to see him till 6 or 7 months later. And that's just the name of the game. But the thing is, this is what we train for. This is what we want to do because we signed up for this.
Yeah, no, 100%, sir. It must be awesome to be able to boss him around the way you do now. Secretary Hung Cao, we appreciate it very much, sir.
Thank you, Carl.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.